So today we're going to do a live Q&A. Kazra Dash is on the call as well. Welcome, Kazra.
Hello, thanks for having me.
And we're just going to run through some of the latest news. Plus, if you have any questions, feel free to post them inside the comments and we can answer them step by step. So first thing, Google spam update. Have you seen any movements recently? Obviously, the announcement was released last week on the latest spam update.
Yeah, so I have seen a couple people talk about the websites that went down in the March update. They've had a little bit of an increase since the spam update. So if you have had a website that dipped in March, potentially take a look at it and see if you are ranking for a few more keywords, or you might have gained a couple positions on certain keywords as well.
I've seen a lot more sites struggling with indexing, I would say, especially over the last couple of weeks. Like a lot of sites are struggling with getting the content indexed. Content they've created already has been de-indexed. And I think that's one thing that Google's trying to clean up, right? Because of the amount of content that's flooding the internet, they're trying to improve the indexing too. Have you seen anything similar to that?
Weirdly, we were literally just talking about this in the office. Yes, we have seen that. So there is probably some kind of correlation there. I don't know what they are typically doing. One thing I will say is it is kind of like an unfair advantage at the minute, because usually when there is a core algorithm update, or when there is a spam update as well, we have seen the index rate of websites go down a little bit. So that is one thing to take into consideration.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. You got any techniques for like making sure your content does get indexed if you're struggling?
Hit it with 10 million backlinks.
Go on to fiverr.com, get your backlink.
No, so like you need to give it you need to give Google every reason to rank that page or that website. Like, so when I say that there is an issue with indexing, let's say if it was a brand new website and you aren't indexing any pages, obviously try to let's use a local business website, for example. Try to get citations through to like your homepage, for example. Try and get some branded links to your homepage. Stuff like that does typically help. If your website has got an indexing issue and it's had an indexing issue for quite some time, there might be an internal linking issue as well. So make certain that your pages aren't orphan pages. Try and do like a screen frog audit on your website and make certain that the pages that aren't being indexed have got a sufficient amount of internal links. Because again, a lot of people, they might not have an indexing issue, and this is a little bit more for some aged websites. You might not have an indexing issue to begin with, but once you start scaling past 50 or 100 or 200 pages, then you might end up having a few indexing issues on your website.
Mark Johnson says, I've never had issues with pages not getting indexed at all, only getting indexed slowly. Is this because my sites are typically smaller?
Yeah. Typically speaking, you can get away with like okay internal links on a smaller website, but once you start scaling past like 2, 3, 4, 5, 600 pages, that's when you run into some issues. Like we've seen it time and time and again in the gambling industry, where websites, when they're like 500 pages, they don't have that bad. They have an okay internal linking strategy. But once they scale past like 2,000 pages, that's when they like start having some serious issues, and that's when they need to implement a good internal linking strategy.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. One thing I've seen, this is really crazy, is with AI SEO. A lot of people were asking these days about programmatic SEO. I think that's something that's trending this year. Have you checked out Perplexity's website? Perplexity AI.
I've seen a lot of people talking about it, and it's like off the records.
It's outrageous. Like their traffic is growing, as you can see right here. It was at 100K April 2023. Dipped a little bit in January,
Mm-hmm.
but now it's at 2.8 6 million pretty much.
I think one thing to bear in mind with websites like that is they are producing a lot of content. Now, the content quality, I'm not going to comment on, but Perplexity itself has been a trending topic. Like, you know yourself, like you'll upload a video on Perplexity and you get 6,000, 7,000 views, right? So they're getting a lot of branded traffic, but then they're also getting links from like some serious publications. I can guarantee if you look at the referring domain count, it'll have a similar trend. Like if you tick just under performance, you should be able to tick referring domain count, and I can guarantee that there's a similar pattern in the referring domain count. Yeah, like I've
Yeah,
never once looked at perplexity.com or .ai or whatever it is on Ahrefs, but when I say, or when we say like SEO is easy, at the end of the day, it's good quality content and good links. Like this is what we mean. Like there's obviously like you can perfect like an SEO strategy for sure, but I feel like a lot of people do overcomplicate things. Where in essence, SEO isn't that hard, if that makes sense.
yeah, 100%. It's pretty simple, isn't it? More backlinks equals better rankings because you've
Yeah.
got more authority to your site. By the way, if you want a free SEO strategy session and a link building game plan for your website, feel free to book that in. Links in the comments and description. But yeah, the traffic and the growth from this site is absolutely amazing. The other thing I would say as well is like, a lot of people say AI content doesn't rank. A lot of people say programmatic SEO doesn't rank, but there's two very clear examples of that working right here with this website.
Another good example of a programmatic website ranking is wise.com. And basically, what they do is they actually have two styles of programmatic pages. They have like send money to Pakistan, send money to India, send money to South Africa. So they've essentially got programmatic going from country level. But then they also have done programmatic for their competitors as well. So they might have, like, for example, PayPal versus Wise, Revolut versus Wise, Monzo versus Wise.
Yeah.
And that's another good website to take a look at. Like programmatic SEO it definitely does work. You just need to, like, the days of spinning up a page and just using 100% duplicate content, that's a little bit more trickier. It still can be done, but if you look at the wise.com website, it's performing very well. Like, and
Yeah, I mean,
again, I think if you
outrageous.
were, yeah, I think if you tick referring domains as well, again, you'll see a similar pattern with the referring domain count as well. Um,
That's it.
so
You're just
yeah.
selling my link building services here.
But at the end of the day, that is literally like links and content.
It's very simple, isn't it? I don't know why people overcomplicate it in SEO, but
Yeah,
more links,
right. So
more content.
that's the end of the stream. Everybody knows links and
That's it.
content.
You're good to go now. By the way, if anyone has any questions, feel free to post them just so that we can help you as much as we can on the stream and make sure you get the most value out of it. I'm going to come on to some of the latest comments and questions on the channel that we've had recently, because I think there's some interesting stuff there you're going to find useful. One of them being about link building, right? So Tony Stark here, the Iron Man
Real
himself.
Tony Stark.
We got an interesting set of crowd here because we got the ex-CEO from multiple unicorns live on the
Yeah.
stream. Obviously yourself, Kazra, and then we've got Tony Stark here as well. So it's never a dull day in SEO. But basically, Tony says, Julian, my website is 6 months old and only has 3 backlinks. I generated them through Harrow, but why have I not received any organic backlinks? I'm feeling defeated with SEO right now. And I would say, number one, if you've got a brand new website that's starting out and you're not actively doing any PR or any branding, you're not going to get any backlinks naturally to your website. Like, you have to go out there and you have to go out and build them. Like, it's at first, to get the ball rolling, it's a purposeful thing, right? It's the same with YouTube. Like, when I was starting out with YouTube, I wouldn't just get the traffic coming to me. Like, I had to actively go out there and promote it via email, via Facebook, via Twitter, LinkedIn, etc., and get that traffic to me. And then that starts a fire that builds more momentum for traffic coming naturally. Have you seen the same thing?
Yeah, so let me give you a really good analogy, and I think you've probably heard of it. But person, what was he called? The real Iron
Tony
Man.
Stark here,
Yeah, Tony, the real Tony Stark, right?
legend.
There is always a famous saying, and that saying is, "Where do you hide a dead body?" And that's on page 2 of Google because nobody looks there. Now, the reason why you are thinking you're going to naturally acquire backlinks is people say, or the big SEOs, right, on Twitter, or what I like to call toxic Twitter, and on LinkedIn, they'll say, "Don't build any links. You don't need any links. You're naturally going to acquire links." Now, nobody, and I mean nobody, is going to link to a website on page 3 of Google because nobody goes past page 1 in a real world. So what I like to say to like my clients and stuff like that is go and acquire some links, go and start getting some page 1 rankings, and naturally then once you do have some page 1 rankings, you will then end up acquiring links. Whereas if, say, for example, you might have the best article ever on AI SEO, right? But if it's on page 7, nobody's going to see it. Nobody's going to link to it. Nobody's going to know that it's there. It's kind of like having a massive library, and on floor number 19, aisle number 86, row number 4, that's like where your book is, and nobody's even walking past that. So you need to try and like give your website a little bit of a push to get page 1 rankings, and then you will acquire some links. Now that's where like the misconception happens, because like a lot of the people, or a lot of the SEO influencers that say don't build links, they're already working on some monster websites. So for example, if I was the next head of SEO at IKEA, for example, I probably wouldn't build any links because they've already got a lot of backlinks. I would probably focus more so on writing quality content, and the quality content will end up ranking. Whereas if you don't have an IKEA, Mr. Tony Starks, then you're probably going to need to acquire some links first.
Yeah, and I think as well, it's inputs, outputs, right? Like if you don't go to the gym, you're not going to build muscle. If you don't do any outreach, then you're not going to get any backlinks. The
Yeah, for
input
sure.
with people who get backlinks naturally is that there's traffic already coming to their site, and that traffic leads to more people building links to their site. I mean, it's for example, if you look at someone like Perplexity we were looking at previously, they'll get backlinks naturally, but it's because they're getting so much attention, they're doing so much PR, and they've got the input already, which leads to the output of backlinks. Another question we've got from Malik Bilal says, how can I solve SDK mobile setup on Facebook ads? For me personally, like, I mean, number one, I'm not an expert on Facebook ads, but also I'd look into just hiring someone to set up for me because it sounds a bit technical. Probably Upwork or Fiverr or something like that. What would you do?
I have no clue what that question means, so I'm sorry,
So you
I
do the
can't
same,
help.
right? You'd go into Upwork or Fiverr and get someone.
Yeah, like yeah, I'm
It's
not
way
wasting
out of the
time on
scope of
that.
SEO. But yeah, that's what I would do. That's how I'd solve the problem. Just find someone who's already been there and fixed it. Fitness Frez says, I've seen people faking EEAT by creating fake profile like Twitter and LinkedIn in their blog. So does that work?
There was I don't quote me on this. I want to say it was Kyle Roof that done this test. Don't I could be completely wrong. It might be somebody else, but he actually added a known person. Or like, yeah, basically the test was there was 3 websites, and he added like a known person. Like let's say we were talking about electric cars, right? On our website, he actually added Elon Musk as the offer on the page, and that website actually did shoot up. Now, I'm not saying do that because it's probably not the correct thing to do. But having a known person in the industry does help with EEAT. If I'm being 100% honest, I would look to build up a actual person for that website, whether it's yourself, whether like Julian does it for like link building and SEO, I do it for like SEO consultancy, etc. So I would recommend doing that because again, it's kind of like an asset. So if you ever decide to sell your website will be valued more. And again, you're future proofing your website by doing that.
Yeah, I think as well, you gotta be very careful there, like, legally, if you're using someone else's name or appearance
Mm,
and putting it on your site without their permission, like, it's asking for trouble, isn't it? But I'm sure, like, theoretically, it actually does work.
yeah,
It's just, like, there's other business consequences to that, right?
just a little bit of legal. We are not telling you to do that because you will probably end up getting a cease and desist because it's not like an article written by Elon Musk, for example. I'm just telling you guys the actual results from the test.
So PA Academy says, does keywords focusing on local place directly help on short keyword? Like, for example, keyword like Queen Mattress Sydney help us rank in Queen Mattress while giving backlinks. So typically, like if you, let's say you got a mattress website and you've covered all the topics locally, by doing that, it's going to help you build more topical authority on the main subject, right? But the thing is, if you're trying to rank for, say, Queen Mattress, that's going to be like ultra competitive to rank for. Whereas if you go for those local keywords, for example, like Queen Mattress Sydney, the chances of you ranking are like 5 to 10 times higher, simply because it's much lower difficulty. It's much easier to rank for that keyword. There's the less people going for it. So it can help your site overall. It can help your site's authority in terms of topical relevance, but it's not directly going to help you rank for that keyword. Like that same page that you created for Queen Mattress Sydney is not going to help you rank that same page for Queen Mattress because they're two totally different search intent. What would you say, Kazra?
If I'm being 100% honest, I don't understand the question.
So, from my interpretation,
Yeah,
basically, they're saying, right, if we try and rank for the keyword Queen Mattress Sydney and we create a page around that, is it going to help us rank for the main keyword Queen Mattress? We'll come on to the giving backlinks thing in a second, but I think those two,
Queen mattress, as in like the queen size.
yeah, I think so. But I'd have to look into the search intent and do the keyword research from there.
Um, I mean, it's two different SERPs, but the thing is, I would have thought if somebody's search, if your business is located in Sydney, I would have thought that they would have localized the SERP. Um, I think you're being a little bit too close. If I'm being honest, I think that there's a variety of different ways that you could get topical authority by not doing that. What like Queen Mattress and Queen Mattress Sydney. Um, and also another thing as well, I'm just thinking of the intent. Somebody that's searching Queen Mattress Sydney, they're probably going to want to go to an actual physical shop and test out the mattresses. And I'm going to assume that you are an affiliate website and you don't actually have a physical shop. So I wouldn't do that. I hope I answered the question.
What would you do?
I would just find more supporting articles like there'll be loads of ways. Like I'm going to assume that it's an affiliate website, so I would be doing like blogs like Queen Mattress versus King Mattress, like they're talking about dimensions, stuff like that. Um, like there's just a variety of different ways that you can build topical authority. Or like let's say for example, you might be even an e-commerce store. You could obviously doing topical authority like king mattresses, queen mattresses, single mattresses. There's that way that you can build topical authority. There's a variety of different ways, but I think that way that you've mentioned it isn't the best way.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too. Like build out a topical cluster and then
Mhm.
from there build your topical authority around that keyword. So for example,
Yeah.
if you're going for the keyword queen mattress, then you would cover all the relevant terms that people are looking for around that topic. If you need tips on building a topical map, just type in topical map Julian Goldie on YouTube and you'll see a bunch of videos that me and Kazra have done together on how to build a topical map. Let's keep it going then. So Mark Johnson says, for small, nascent niche sites, monthly traffic 1,500 to 2,000, with 70 sites, AI assisted content, what are some things I should do in addition to building links, of course? Maybe it might be useful to clarify the question there, Mark. 'Cause I'm not 100% sure. But we'll come on to the next one, which is about repurposing the articles by running them through 11 labs, turning them into podcast episodes, and publishing as well as simple YouTube videos.
For that, like, I mean, it sounds great overall, but I would be producing content on, especially on YouTube videos that people want to see. Like if it's just like a 1,500 word article turned into a podcast, like people ain't watching that. Um, like the whole purpose of, like, for example, the reason why me and Julian are doing this right now, right, and it's not AI. You can see by looking at my fingers, because obviously AI gets your fingers and stuff messed up. But the whole reason we're doing this is because, and we're hoping that there might be, let's say, 50 people that end up watching this, and 10 of you might search Julian Goldie at the end of it on Google, because then we're getting more branded traffic, or 10 of you might end up searching Casual Dash on Google, because again, I get more branded traffic. Whereas if, say, for example, that we had just transcribed a blog on Julian Goldie on how to build a topical map, and it was the most mundane, boring thing ever, I can guarantee there wouldn't be people watching this video right now.
Yeah, I think with AI, particularly with video and audio too, people's BS radars are like way up because it's much harder to fake that than an actual blog. Like a blog, there's some blogs I've read with AI. Like there was one where I was testing ChatGPT the other day, and I was like, this is better than 99% of writers I've hired, right? But then for videos, I think the quality of AI and the technology of AI is just not at that point yet. So it's
Mhm.
like you can use AI to create content, but the standards for that quality should still be super high. And you can really just use it as an assistant. Like, for example, if I'm using AI for YouTube, which I do pretty much every single day, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Descript for helping editing the content, improving the sound quality, removing the filler gaps, shortening the word gaps, removing all the BS words, and also generating the thumbnail. I'll do that with ChatGPT. Like, that's a really good way to help AI assist you. But the quality and the standards for quality still have to be just as high, if not higher, than any content you've previously created.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to go down like the AI route, there's a lot of like faceless YouTube channels that perform very well. You could go down that route as well. But again, like I've been watching like a faceless YouTube channel for like 6 months now, and it was only until like last month I was like, ah, I've not actually ever seen a face on this channel, and then I quickly realized it's done by AI. But like it probably takes them about still like a week to create that video.
Yeah, have you seen
So
those history ones that are blowing up?
yeah.
Like,
Some
so
like
smart. Like, people creating videos with AI, narrated with AI, and then because they're like historic videos about whatever, they go viral. Like, people share them everywhere.
yeah.
Discover Metal Detecting says, "Hey guys, good to finally manage to join a live stream. Welcome here." And Mark Johnson says, "I figure even if that content that he was mentioning before doesn't get listens and views, it might still be good for the entities." The thing that I've found, right, is when you just do it as a test, or you do it because it doesn't get much exposure, but it's easy to do. I tend to find like that doesn't get any traction at all. Like, for example, if you have a TikTok channel where you're just publishing like automated AI edited shorts, typically what happens is like the views get a decent chance at first because the algorithm's testing it, and then it'll drop off and off and off and off and off towards the point where it's just a downward spiral and it doesn't get any traction at all. So if you can spend a bit of time extra just editing, keeping the quality high, I think it makes a huge difference. And also then the impact of that, for branded search, for reach, for more traffic is going to be 10 to 100x higher.
Yeah, for sure. Like it's not as easy doing a YouTube video and just getting loads of views and stuff like that. So yeah, and also I don't know what your thoughts are on this, but when you use the AI like bot voice, it's really bad. I don't know if they've improved that recently, but it's still not great.
Is that on TikTok or?
Just in general. I'm yet to still hear an AI voice where I'm like, actually, that's really good.
Yeah, I haven't tested 11 Labs recently. I've heard some amazing things, but I've just not tested it
Right.
out. So it would be interesting to see what it's like. Usually, I can tell though. I would say, yeah, when I've tested other tools in the past, it's not been great. Discover Metal Marketing says, hopefully it will help, but recently went through all of my content and checked it for relevancy. I toggled a theme setting to ensure the articles displayed the last updated date in the metadata. This was an actual ranking factor. Do you see this on the Google Leaks, Kazra? Like the last updated date actually impacts your
Yeah,
ranking content.
it's I can see why they do it because like there was in the gambling space, like I always liked referring back to the gambling space because it's arguably like one of the hardest industries to rank in. And this was a trick that we always used to do a couple of years back where you can modify or you could do a custom modification of the actual date and it would always look like it was last updated like 3 days ago and it would rank very well. They have gotten a lot smarter. This is like a tactic we used to use like 2-3 years ago, maybe even like 4 or 5 years ago, and it used to work very well, but they have gotten a lot smarter since.
And also says, I'm personally really fed up with my main competitors having old information, obsolete products, broken links, broken images, and ranking higher. Sometimes that's part of the game, isn't it? I mean, for example, a lot of people get fed up with like Forbes just outranking them for that content. I
Mhm.
would say number one, look for opportunities where you're not competing against super high DR websites because that's typically just one of those things that's super hard to get around. Like if you let's say I'm competing with Perplexity AI on the SERPs, their DR is like 80, mine is like 50. Typically, it's going to be those high DR sites that outrank me, especially if I've got a low DR site like a DR10 or a DR20 because I haven't built enough backlinks. So I think try and go where the fish aren't swimming, and also try and find SERPs and keyword opportunities where you're not competing against a big, the big crowd. Really, what would you say?
I would kind of see this as like a good opportunity. Like for example, we've got a lot of UK based websites, and it's the exact same. Like the website itself or the business itself that we're competing against, they might be like a 12-year, 25 years. In some cases, they might even be older than me. Like I'm 26. The business website might be like 27 years old, right? So it's got a lot of history. It's got a lot of broken links, a lot of thin content. I see that as an opportunity. I'm like, brilliant. Like I can come in. I've got a good enough SEO understanding to be able to beat them on a technical SEO front. All I probably need is just more content and more links. And then, yes, it might take me 6 to 12 months to rank, but I just know that they'll never catch up once I have ranked. Because that's another thing you need to worry about as well, or not worry about, but that's another thing you need to think about as well. If they've not updated their posts in 5 years, you should easily be able to come in and overtake them and stay up like above them for a good period of time.
Yeah, 100%. The other thing I was going to say was like, if you can't compete on your main domain because you're competing against these massive DR sites, you can use other platforms. Like for me, for example, there's some keywords related to SEO where I can easily rank with YouTube, but I'm not going to rank with my own personal site just because I'm competing against like DR80s and DR90s. And so when you leverage the authority of other platforms and the content is really good, obviously it's my YouTube channel, so it's not like we're spamming it. But when you leverage these other platforms, like you can rank faster and easier quite often, especially if you're competing against massive sites.
Yeah, definitely.
Jason says, welcome. Jason says, fellas, I've seen the 5-minute video you did. Can you speak more on using LinkedIn and Twitter to get traffic?
That would have been the one in Estonia.
Yeah, that's it. I can run through what's working for me. Do you're not a big fan of Twitter, I would say, Kazra, right?
No, it's like I just get constant hate on Twitter because I'm
They're
always
so
right
friendly
and
on
people
there.
are. Yeah, I mean, when you're constantly right and there's people that don't do any testing at all, of course you're going to get hate on Twitter, but I feel like everyone gets it. I don't do that much on Twitter. I'm a lot more active on LinkedIn though.
Yeah. So what's your strategy for LinkedIn then?
Post every or try to post consistently. Try to like, I know this probably sounds really cliche, but try to provide good value in your tweets. If, say, for example, you are really good at ranking Google business profiles, even sometimes giving away your entire strategy, like if you're trying to get more Google business profile clients to rank their business profile pages, they might end up like a business owner might end up looking at your post and they're like, oh, I can't be bothered doing this. I'm just going to hire Julian to do it, or I'm going to hire Kaz to do it. That's my strategy. Like, just give everything away, and in return, you're probably going to get a lot of clients back.
Yeah, 100%. I'll break down mine. We'll start with LinkedIn first of all. So when it comes to LinkedIn, what I typically do is, and this is based on what's working for us, right? So you can see previously, if we go all the way back to like April the 19th, April the 18th, you can see we're only getting like 288 impressions a day. Now we've reached a peak of like 10,000 impressions a day. Quite often we get like 8,000, 8,500, etc. And you can see over time that's just increasing really nicely. Now, the strategy for that is basically I have a team handling for this for me. They'll post multiple times a day, and they'll post these guides, I would say, where you like want to know how to do X. Here's my tips. This includes, if you want the full strategy guide, like, follow, and comment. Share the post to get it first. And then also we comment 5 things in the comments down below. That tends to get more reach and more engagement, as you can see right here. Now, when we're doing this as well, we generate these carousels. And what you'll see when people are scrolling through the feed is that it's going to take up more real estate. And if it takes up more real estate, it's more likely to get more impressions and more engagement, because it's just harder to ignore. So you can see, for example, most people won't post a big carousel like this. And this literally takes up like the whole feed, as you can see, right?
Yeah.
And so to generate the carousels, this was actually something recommended by an SEO Elite Circle member. But what you can see right here is that you can use a tool called Taplio, and they generate carousels for you. And essentially you can put in your YouTube video or a blog or whatever you want, click generate carousel, edit it as you can see, and it comes up with your name, your tag on LinkedIn, and also it generates like a nice little guide like that, like EAT, personal site, schema markup, etc., and ways to improve your EAT based on the original piece of content.
That's quite cool.
It's pretty nice, yeah. And then we'll post that multiple times a day, and that's basically how we can get more traffic. And then just every day, like, my team is looking at the feed and trying to figure out, okay, what's working. Like, if we look at the algorithm, what's getting the most traction, what's getting the most comments, what's appearing top of my feed, and why is that working, right? So for example, if you look at this particular post right here, it's very specific in terms of the numbers, but it also hooks people in. Like, I felt like I was being robbed. And then it's kind of like a story where you have to click see more to learn more. And it kind of, it's like a hook to get people's dopamine going. And then they have to click in to read more and actually complete the open loop of the story. So I'm just constantly analyzing content like this. So is my team, and then just figuring out, okay, what works, what doesn't, and how can we get more traffic and more impressions. Now, when it comes to Twitter, we post similar content on Twitter. If we look over the last 28 days, for example, you can see we went from like nearly 11,000 impressions to we're getting like about 50,000 impressions a day now, and gradually increasing that over time. On Twitter, what we do is we have a similar technique, but we'll post a lot more content. And we'll do a lot of these tools, these sort of like roundup of tools as well, and tag people in, which means we get more retweets, more impressions, more engagement. And then additionally, we'll post my actual YouTube videos, which is quite interesting because if you look, like I've got 104,000 subscribers on YouTube, but the video yesterday so far has only got like 800 views, right? If I repost that onto Twitter as well, I can get the same amount of views, which means that I double the reach for no extra effort or time of that video, which is pretty nice. And then what else would I say? Yeah, doing these similar sort of like engagement focused posts. See, we're getting like
When
7.5K views.
I've got a question. When you are doing your images, do you always use like AI images on Twitter and on LinkedIn and stuff, or is it more so like sometimes it's a mix?
So for me, I like to mix it up. So like sometimes video clips, like video screencasts. We will use ChatGPT a lot simply because we don't want to be taking anyone else's images or videos or anything like that. Anything has to be copyright free. And then
Yeah.
additionally, it's easier and faster. But then screenshots work really well as well. Like for example, if you there's a free tool called Sketch. I think you've used it before, Kazra, right? Sketch. You can like annotate screenshots and stuff. If not, I can show a screenshot and show you what I mean.
I don't think I have.
Oh, Sketch is
Um,
amazing. Like if you're creating social media content, or your team is, for anyone watching, like
mhm.
it's really good. So for example, I can take a screenshot like this, copy it, and then go onto Sketch. Sketch is free. We'll close that. And then inside Sketch, you can annotate the screenshot. So you can be like, right, here's what I
Okay,
did.
that's quite cool.
And then it just makes something that looks very boring normally look a
Mm.
lot more interesting. Yeah. So
And then for the videos that you're publishing on Twitter, is it just literally a video that you've already published on YouTube that you're just downloading off YouTube and re-uploading to Twitter?
yeah, exactly. So my team just download it and then upload it automatically to Twitter as well. We used to post it on LinkedIn and Facebook groups, but it doesn't get anywhere near as much reach as
Mhm.
just posting directly on Twitter. So it's weird how like some platforms are just so different in terms of how they react and how much reach you get based on the content you're
Yeah.
creating.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Ismail says, "Is XCR manipulation work?" I think that means
I'm gonna
CTR.
assume CTR, yeah.
Yeah, with e-commerce websites and been struggling with some keyword.
Yeah, it does work. You need a more expensive setup. If you're just using tools like, for example, um, CTR Booster, Agency Assassin, stuff like that, it doesn't work because or well, I say it doesn't work. You still can get results, but it very much comes down to like your IPs. If you're using burnt out IPs, which I want to say like 95% of IPs that you buy that are meant to be for CTR, they don't work. What we've ended up doing is we have a load of 3G, 4G, 5G, and residential proxies, and it costs us like an arm and a leg for that setup. But yeah, CTR manipulation works. If it's not working, it's probably because you've got burnt out IPs.
Fitness Fred says, which is the best option? Getting backlinks from a homepage or blog pages? I want to know if Google removes the link juice from the blog page backlink, then the blog page ranking depends on domain DR. So for us personally, what we do is typically our sites will have the foundational links to the homepage, and then we'll build links to each of the blog pages inside the content, depending on how many backlinks they need. So we're going to build out a game plan. We look at, and we do this live on the strategy calls if you want to book that in the comments. But basically, you can type in a keyword on Ahrefs, you can figure out how many backlinks you need to rank for that keyword, and then you can easily build out a game plan for each page and figure out, okay, I need 5 backlinks to this page to rank it. The formula is very simple, and that's how we're going to target each page and rank them. And if you want to make sure that that power to that one page gets spread to multiple pages on your site, you can set up internal links. So for example, if you have a blog with like 5 backlinks pointing to it, you can link internally to other pages on your site to power them up too and funnel that link juice to multiple pages. The beauty of that as well is that you are basically getting a higher ROI from the backlinks you build, because you're not just powering up that page, but you're powering up multiple other pages inside your site.
Yeah. So I have a slightly different strategy to how Julian does it, but I mean, either way works. Like we do. Again, I'm going to assume that it's a brand new website. We do a lot of branded links to begin with, but I mean, what Julian like. One thing that I want to emphasize on is that there's not like a perfect SEO strategy. Like if you done my strategy, guess what? It would work. If you done Julian's strategy, guess what? It would work. So there is no right or wrong. It's just what I've been trained on and what Julian's been trained on.
Yeah, 100%. I'm conscious of time, so we're going to blast through the last few questions now. Jason says, Cat's stream right now looks like an AI avatar.
I can guarantee it is not an AI avatar. As you can see, it's not a green screen, nothing like that.
That's what an AI would say.
Maybe I am AI. Who knows?
We've got a tip. So thank you very much for the tip. That's very, very kind, and glad the information is helpful. Fitness Frez also says, as Google give a tier to every website based on the traffic tier, we can choose a specific keyword based upon that tier, so we can overcome the tier with backlinks. Yeah, I mean, it's common sense as well. Like, backlinks help power up your site and rank for more keywords, but also if you're using something like the avalanche technique, then it works very, very well. I think both things in combination help.
What's the avalanche technique?
Basically, like when you go, right, okay, I'm getting 25 traffic to my website daily, so I'm going to target keywords that get a similar amount of traffic, because that's kind of like the tier that I've been assigned by Google.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, so like the golden keyword ratio as well. That's like
Yeah,
another.
similar to
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. Right,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Darpan Dalal says, thoughts on the infinite scroll removal from Google search?
I don't have any thoughts. I mean, they've got the data, so they've probably tested it.
Yeah, probably doing something there, or testing just multiple things. But yeah, I saw that recently. One of my competitors has a snippet on a certain keyword. Even the landing page is redirected to Linktree. That snippet page is redirected to Linktree too. Redirecting the site is bad, no?
One of my competitors has a snippet on a certain keyword, even though landing page is redirected to the link tree.
So I
I
guess
don't
like people
understand the
land.
question.
I think it sounds like a bait and switch, where basically people are landing on that page that's ranking on the
Yeah.
first page of Google for the snippet, but then when you land on it, it actually redirects a page to a link tree where it's got like multiple links, I guess, to the main funnels or products.
Ah, okay. The thing is, like, you're probably over analyzing there. Like they've probably what's probably ended up happening there is, from a sales point of view, they might have seen a higher increase in conversion rate by sending it through to their link tree. I'm going to assume they've probably not done it for an SEO reason, if that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%. And Discover Metal Detecting says, what are your thoughts currently on niche site discovery? Would you say it's worth hanging on for 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, etc.?
Um, uh, so right now I'm doing a lot of consultations with people that have been hit, and we are seeing improvements across multiple websites, one of which is fully recovered after HCU, September HCU. So I think just start getting to work. Like, for example, a few things that I recommend doing. I actually done a video on this on my YouTube. I think if you search like what did I call it? Like what to do after Google, or what to do after traffic loss or casual dash. Like I think I done it like last week or 2 weeks ago. Um, Content pruning works. Website, sorry, restructuring your content works. Disavow's working better than ever. And then like the website architecture is pretty important as well. That's probably 4 things I would look at.
Connor Martin says, nice work, guys. Haven't heard of Skitch. Glad it's helpful. I'm going to try and pronounce that name. I'm just going to say Chi for now. Hi, Julian. Hi, Kazra. Hello to you both too.
Hello.
And Drone Tech says, is shared hosting a definite no-no in order to compete in competitive niches?
We never. Do we do shared hosting? I don't think we do on the harder, like in gambling and stuff like that. And the reason why we don't, and it's not got like anything from like an SEO point of view, but some of our websites, like let's say for example, if we have a football betting website and we get a lot of traffic during the World Cup, we just don't want that server to go down. In reality, like that let's say it's the starting day for World Cup in a year's time, or whenever, in 2 years' time. We just don't want that website to go down because maybe like 40% of our yearly income might come from like those 2 weeks. And if the website's down because somebody else is doing something dodgy on the shared hosting, it's just going to impact our income on that website. So that's why we don't use shared hosting.
And SEO algorithm says, completely agree. There's no best strategy. That's the thing. I mean, everyone has their own style, but
Yeah.
everything works, right? Same with anything. Same with YouTube as well. Pancatch says, hi, Julian. And I'm going to answer two of these last two questions. I saw a question come in from Charles Float as well. But these two questions right here, I'm not getting on website how to improve website traffic fast, and which chatbot is currently the best for generating text that Google ranks. So I actually posted a new case study inside the SEO boardroom. Obviously, I can't really release that publicly, but I would say inside there, if you're not already a member, you'll find that we basically show how we've ranked with Claude 3.5 within 24 hours inside the SEO boardroom. So that's a case study that you can check out inside the SEO boardroom. And yeah, basically shows you how to rank fast and also shows you how to use Claude to rank content and create it. So pretty cool case study right there. Fitness Fred says, I've checked the blogger's image through Google Lens. He's using a stock image for EAT. Can we replicate the same?
Huh? I've checked the blogger's image for Google Lens. He is using a stock image for EAT, so can we grab? I mean, it's up to you, but when your website gets hit by Google, and it's just not a future-proof strategy. That's how I see it. So, I mean, it might work for now. It might work for the next 6 months, but will it work in 2 years' time? If you're trying to build a sellable asset that you're going to look to sell, and that's what we do. Like we look to sell our assets. It's not like a strategy that it's not a quick win SEO strategy. That's what I'm trying to say. So it's down to you.
Discover Metal Detecting says, would adding a WooCommerce shop front merch page to an existing site help with ranking?
No, it's complete BS. I've spoke about this in detail. Everybody that says e-commerce websites haven't been hit, they've just not done enough testing. Like I go into detail on that.
And Charles Float says, hello, gentlemen. What do you guys think of the new SERPs being rolled out for credit cards and hotels?
I saw that actually. It seems like somebody in Google isn't earning enough money, and they're like, do you know what? I'm gonna turn Google into my own personal affiliate website. I mean, it's one of those things. Like, for example, Google Flights wasn't a thing like 10 years ago. Google Booking or Google Hotels wasn't a thing. Google Finance as well. I think even if you search like some finance, like how much is whatever on the Nasdaq, in some cases it's actually like Google's own personal thing. Um, I don't know why they've done it. If I'm honest, they've probably just seen it as another way of earning more money, or potentially they might have the data to say that the websites that were recommending the credit cards were recommending the wrong credit cards. So now they've got a little bit more control on that. There will be a reason as to why they've done it. Do I think Google's being greedy by doing it? Possibly. Do I think that Google might have done it to recommend a better user experience? Like they might be able to vet the credit cards a lot better than, for example, casual-finance.com, where casual-finance is all I would be doing is sticking the top three highest paying commission credit cards. Let's be serious. At the end of the day, if you've got an affiliate website, that's probably what you're doing. So there might be a little bit of they've seen an issue on the website, so they're like, do you know what, we can actually recommend the true best credit cards, and it might be able to provide a better user experience. What do you think?
I mean, yeah, it's kind of like Google Travel, where it just ends up dominating the travel niche and it cuts out
Mhm.
all the affiliates in between, right? It's kind of like cutting out the middleman. One of the things I would say here is like when they're recommending those cards, I'd assume they're not manually vetting them, right? Like it's kind of one of those where it's AI generated. They might have filters in the algorithm for finding the best credit cards, but I'd assume it's not like an actual person figuring out what are the best credit cards, right?
If that's the case, then they've just been greedy. Because now that you've mentioned it, now I'm thinking like, well, actually, what are the best credit cards? Because like the best credit cards for me might not be the best credit cards for you. So that will be it. Like for example, like I'm just going to speak. Like you're in Thailand, right? So the best credit cards for you will be completely different to the best credit cards for me. That's a UK citizen. So I don't know how they're going to be able to assume which credit card to recommend. Um,
I think from a business perspective, it's very smart. Like they're just going to make a ridiculous amount of money if they
yeah,
push that out, right? Kind of like Google Travel. You can imagine how much money that makes, but it's brutal for the site owners.
I think there'll always be a way to like. Even, let's say, for example, they completely dominated the credit card industry. There'll always be ways to earn off credit card affiliate. Like you just need to be a little bit more um, like you just need to be a little bit more creative. So, for example, instead of just ranking for best credit cards, you can go down the route of saying, right, okay, well, I travel a lot and I could consider myself as a digital nomad. So I'm going to build a digital nomad website. And then on some of the pages, I'm going to dabble in on credit cards, like best credit cards for traveling, stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. We've got a couple of questions about how to dominate the SERPs with AI content. We don't really have time for them, but feel free to check out the SEO boardroom, and that will help you a lot in terms of how to use AI content the right way. Or you can check out my free course, links in the comments description. Check out the AI section, and you'll see how to quality control content, but also create AI content that genuinely ranks. Discover Metal Detecting says, great stream, guys. And PA Academy says, thank you for the valuable information. Much love from Nepal. So thanks so much for being on, Kazra. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
And we're going to do a video very soon about how to create projects with Claude AI, and how to rank with that. You've created some awesome tools, haven't you? So that's coming out tomorrow. Make sure you watch out for it. Also, if you want a free SEO strategy session, feel free to book that. Links in the comments description. We'll show you how we take websites from 0 to 145,000 visitors per month and generate thousands of dollars in sales. In this one-to-one SEO strategy session, we'll basically personalize all the stuff that we've talked about today to get you more leads, traffic, and sales, and make you more money, most importantly, with your website. Plus, if you have any questions, you'll be able to answer them. And if you're interested in link building, we'll show you a link building game plan to rank your website. Cheers, Kazra. Bye-bye.